Now, before I get too deep into this, I kind of want to preface this by saying something. There's a very specific reason why you really don't see a whole lot of Comics Gate stuff on this channel or Fandom Menace stuff. Really, you don't see any. And that's because I don't like aligning myself with groups like that. Not for any fault of the group. There are perfectly fine people in both groups, just like there are some assholes in both groups. And I say groups with air quotes because for the most part, they're very informal. They're just like collections of people who are very diverse but tend to agree on a core few topics, like not liking the way comics have been done lately, not wanting a lot of woke shit in every single corner of our entertainment industry, being anti cancel culture. But other than that, there are all types of identity groups and political groups and religious groups among them. And that's completely fine. I just prefer to be over here doing my own thing. I've always been the type of person who gets along with folks from various groups, but I don't really have one of my own, at least in a formal sense. Been like that since I was in grade school. I would have friends from every clique, but I don't really fit into any specific clique. But with that being said, the amount of times that these people have been called things like Nazi or KKK or whatever, such and such is a hate group. You had when Zack Snyder had to sort of disavow Geeks and Gamers and Comicsgate and everything earlier this year when the Snyder Cut was released. It's beyond dumb. It's beyond head ass. It's just this attitude of such and such is a hate group. The people who say shit like that, they have no idea what hate groups are. They have no idea what it truly means to be racist or to interact with someone who hates a whole group of people. I mean, first of all, the first obvious retort to this is the fact that there are various people of color in these groups. How can a group be filled to the brim with racists when there are who are not white in said group or aligned with said group, with said faction? How can a group be homophobic and transphobic and there be all these LGBT people up in there? A good chunk of the folks I interact with who have Comicsgate in their profile are not straight, not cis. So why are we even making this point? Oh yeah, that's right, because I guess they hate their gender, or they're a pick-me, or they're a coon, or they're a... There was a new one I heard the other day. Someone was talking shit to Gothics, and or about Gothics rather, because they won't go at her, because they ain't about that life. But they said she's a token conservative darky. We're grifters. We're shucking and jiving for the white man. Even those of us who aren't Comicsgate, they're calling these groups things like KKK and Nazi. Meanwhile, the far left, they're still getting people canceled. They still hate Gina Carano and everything that she touches. Gina Carano will never be homeless a day in her life, and that would be true even if she never appeared in another movie, because she's living in these people's heads rent-free. We're talking hundreds and thousands of them. They will not stop. Even though they accomplished their mission, okay? She ain't on Mandalorian no more. They got what they wanted, but it don't matter. They still have to talk shit. They still have to bring up the fact that she was quote-unquote anti-Semitic. So now, here we go. It's time to call everything's a hate group. Everything is a KKK. The KKK, okay, yeah. So Comicsgate equals the Klan. Okay, point me to all the people who have been killed by the Comicsgate. Point me to the teenagers who are walking down the street and who were pulled in the car and were brutally murdered and had their bodies slung up on a tree. They're not literally the Klan. They're not literally this. Oh, well, when you call them Klansmen, that's what I think of. Because that's what the Klan does. I mean, you wouldn't know now because they've been completely relevant for pretty much my whole life. But yeah, that's what the Klan means. It means we do the bad shit to the non-whites. And, the non-Christians. And the non-Americans. Any other time when y'all say something is something, you're taking it literally. But now when someone comes to you and is like, oh really, so where's this? Now all of a sudden it's not literal. Alright, fine, I'll play you at your own game then. Where are the virtual victims of Comicsgate? Who has Comicsgate been sicked on and then has been completely ruined? I can point to people who the far left extremists and ideologues have destroyed or almost destroyed. We have Gina Carano, Rosario Dawson, Louis C.K., Dave Chappelle. We got Scarlett Johansson. Do you need more? And that's the big names. We can get little too. We have that one author of Asian descent who got collapsed on because she dared to put slavery in her fantasy novel, and she was quote unquote being racist to black people because these brainlets assume that whenever slavery is brought up, it has to be black people in the real world, or else it's racist or appropriating black culture or whatever. We also have people like Gothics, when she dared to say that she didn't agree with the casting of Halle Bailey as Ariel in the live action Little Mermaid. Her entire communities flipped on her and tried to destroy her. Sponsors dropped her. And then she dared to vote for Trump. So yeah, they had to just destroy her life. And if it wasn't for her bomb-ass support system, her unconquerable spirit, and her determination to not let these people ruin her life, she may have just faded away and we never would have heard from her again. And that's what these people want. They want people to be completely destroyed, have their reputations and livelihoods destroyed, preferably to the point of suicide. I want to be super, super clear here. I am only talking about the far left, the people who are all ACAB, got BLM, ACAB, all the pronouns in the bio, all the flags, and they want to act like they're the paragons of virtue and justice. But this is what they do. The moment someone has an unapproved opinion, especially if that someone belongs to a quote-unquote marginalized group, they have to descend upon them like a plague of locusts and devour until there's not even a bone left. So if there's anyone who would qualify as a hate group, I'd say it's them, but I don't like doing shit like that. I like looking at people as individuals. There could be someone who is far left, but is not this radical. They may have radical political opinions, but they don't necessarily engage in actual destruction of people's life. It's very annoying to keep seeing this happen over and over again. I've had people say to me that my opinion doesn't count and that I'm a bigot. I'm a self-hating Negro. I've literally been called a self-hating Negro because I quote-unquote follow Comicsgate people. Let me know what you think about all this bullshit. But I'm glad y'all are sticking with me. Like, for real, y'all are the actual literal MVPs.
Message!
And you know what else I'm going to keep doing? I'm going to keep thanking my patrons. The awesomeness that's being dropped over there, I cannot describe to y'all. No, literally, I can't describe it to y'all because it's locked. I can't tell y'all all the stuff that's up there. But there's Patreon exclusive videos, art, the entire prologue for The Spider's Circle, my original story, is on Patreon. So for just $2 a month, you can see the beginning of Catherine Scarlett, the protagonist of The Spider's Circle. This little cutie right here with the luscious pigtails, you can see the beginning of her story over there right now. You can be a part of the beginning of this journey that is my stories. And I would love for you to join me over there, because I'm telling you, you need this shit in your life. Thank y'all for watching and listening. I'm Anime, and I'll talk to y'all later. Deuces.